my own personal life, as well as my clients as well, is that many people imagine progress, change, to be this exciting, dramatic thing. But often the things that actually work are surprisingly calm, maybe even a little bit boring. The things that actually stick, that lead to long-term change. So I've made a few pointers on my notepad. So the principle is really, really simple. There's always some way in which you can move forward in at least one area of your life. And it's about improving, recharging your batteries, and then repeating. So growth is not about working super hard all day, every day, hustling, grinding, never taking a break. Growth doesn't have to look like that. Although, to contradict myself, there may be times where it's beneficial to work hard. And of course, in general, putting the honest hard work in is important. But lasting change and growth doesn't have to look like that. Growth is not waiting to feel motivated. Sat there waiting for this flash of inspiration, this feeling of motivation and readiness to come over you. Because the truth is, you know it, I know it, everybody knows it. You can't wait to feel ready. You have to move forwards when you don't feel ready. And then you're going to feel ready down the line. Doesn't matter if you're not ready right now. You can get yourself ready for the future. And the bulk of the time, growth is not about taking this huge monumental leap that changes everything. So of course, I'm not denying that there's times where you can make this power move in life, this strategic decision which has long-term benefits. Of course, there's a place for this. And if you have the right focus, you're committed, you have the right conversations with the right people, there'll be times where these big decisions that you can make in life, which are bold, that are going to move you forwards, these will naturally come to you. But the vast majority of the time, the bulk of the time, growth is surprisingly calm. So a few pointers on what it might look more like. Taking one genuine step forwards. Letting your nervous system settle and acclimatize to this change. Then taking the next step forwards. It's a little bit like creating a new routine, then adjusting to the new normal, which is your new routine, your new lifestyle. Bit like if you was on this strength building journey at the gym. You're not going to make this monumental leap where you go from doing one body weight pull-up to weighted pull-ups with 30 kilograms. But you can incrementally make progress. When something becomes medium difficulty rather than hard difficulty, you can adjust the weight so that you're back in that pretty hard difficulty level until it becomes medium difficulty, then readjust again. And if I look at my fitness journey as an example, so when I started out, I wasn't especially fit and healthy. had quite a high blood pressure, resting heart rate, high resting heart rate, etc. So now I'm competing in high rocks, all these different things, running comfortably sub 20-minute 5Ks, doing all these different things. Weighted pull-ups with 30 kilograms, sets of like 5 or 6 with good form. I started out by joining these circuit training classes, which were mainly cardio, doing them 2 times a week. Kept this up for quite some time. Then from that new position, I thought, what next? Started doing some more classes. Down the line, added in some running. Then I added in some solo gym stuff, some strength workouts, and things just built step by step until I've adjusted to a new routine where I do 4 classes a week. I do 3 strength training workouts, zone 2 cardio, an interval session as well. Bit by bit, I adjusted to this. So different fears that might come up. The big fear that a lot of people have: what if I get stuck? What if I start going down a certain path and I find myself in this cul-de-sac and I don't see how to improve from there? I hit this dead end. Well, if you do hit some kind of dead end, you do get stuck. You don't have to solve that problem just by yourself. You can chat to a good friend, someone with experience in that particular area. You can soundboard your idea using AI, even come to one of my events and get the group to brainstorm. And just by going out there, taking action and getting the data, even if there's a challenge and a brick wall that you keep repeatedly hitting, that data is really valuable. There's lessons that can be learned from that data. There's new things that can be tried out. And this whole process reminds me of my previous life before doing coaching, when I was doing a PhD and I was in a lab a lot of the day. You're doing experiments. Sometimes things might not work, but there's always new things you can try. And it's important to get that data, even negative data of something not working. That is progress, that is value. It basically stops you going down that wrong path and gives you the push you need to try something a little bit different. And there's always some things you can try that are going to work eventually. Another fear that often comes up: what if I don't see results? What if I genuinely put myself out there, face uncertainty, take on that pressure, try to move forwards, but I just don't see any tangible, visible, concrete results? What will I do then? How will I handle this situation? So a great analogy for this is gardening. You plant a seed in the soil. You water that seed. The seed gets energy from the sunlight, of course, and all kinds of nutrients are there. And it takes quite a bit of time before you even see a plant peeking above the surface. But just because it takes time before you see that small plant that's just got above the surface doesn't mean that nothing's happening in that gap of time. There's all kinds of big changes going on. There's all kinds of underground growth that you just can't see. There can be a whole root system that's forming. And this can precede the visible results, seeing that plant. And when you see the plant, then you can see the growth more and more clearly. So you might have to actually expect invisible results before you get visible results. That's often the natural order of things. bit like if you was a runner, you was preparing to get personal best time in a marathon. All the training sessions that you do, they're all they're all making this small difference. And when you accumulate the impact of all these training sessions over a significant period of time, this is what is going to get you the results. So you might not see results right away, but as long as there's growth, there's lessons learned, there's progress happening. So today's failures, they're actually tomorrow's successes. They're not really failures. People might perceive them as failures, challenges. Really, it's information that you're discovering, which is going to lead you to overcoming whatever that obstacle or challenge might be and getting the results down the line. Whether the results come to you on a solo level, whether you need to have the right conversations with the right people to figure out the results, or just keep on moving forwards. So closing up, it's really, really helpful to ask yourself the question, how can I move forwards in life right now? What's one action that I can take which is going to move me forwards this week? Doesn't matter if it's a big action or a small action, just one thing that's going to move you forwards. Then if you challenge yourself to actually take that action, you can take it, let your nervous system settle, recover, and then ask yourself that same question from the new position that you're in, come up with a new action, and just keep moving forwards. This isn't about maintaining things, maintenance. It's about making progress in the right direction, keeping that needle working in your favor. Some results are quicker, some are slower, but as long as you're on that right path, things are moving forwards in all these different areas of your life, then you're going to feel good because you're going to get the feeling of progress is happening. And this will help you to keep moving forwards. So I'm going to wrap up this live stream here. I'm going to get my YouTube short done, also for TikTok as well. Then I'll get my Zone 2 cardio coaching session later on. So I'm always practicing what I'm preaching. I'm always living what I'm saying. So I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And if you want to check out any of my written stuff, my blogs, you want to come down to one of my in-person events, maybe a virtual event, which will be coming up, fingers crossed later in the year, something that I'm building in the background. Or if you want coaching, feel free to check out my website. All the information's there, and there should be a link to it in the description below this video. Until next time, have an awesome rest of your day.